Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we are going to talk about internal politics within Russia, poor judgment, mistakes, and we are going to answer two questions, both of which were prompted by that last video about Poland, and where things would go and how things would progress. So we'll start with the easy one. In the beginning of that video, I said the equipment they got may give us a little bit of insight into what Wagner might actually be doing in Belarus. The simple answer there is they may be there to train the army of Belarus and provide them with the benefit of their combat experience. That may be what's going on. Again, we don't know that yet, but that seems pretty likely, more likely than them going into Poland. That in and of itself presents its own challenges. Having a force with Wagner's reputation training the military in Belarus, where there is an active resistance to Putin in general, that may not be the best thing, but on the scale of mistakes, it's pretty low. The other question is, hey, you know, Putin hasn't actually exercised a lot of good judgment lately. What if he does engage in what I described as ridiculously poor judgment and hits Poland? And then another version of the same question, or at least it has the same answer, is you're only saying this about Poland because you're worried about NATO having to face Russia. Okay, Vlad. Okay, so yes, if Putin orders something that is a direct confrontation with NATO, such as moving Wagner into Poland or developing a pattern of hitting NATO-flagged shipping, something like that, the response is going to be pretty marked. And it's not for normal geopolitical considerations at that point. If Putin decides at this point to try to engage NATO directly, it is because of a ridiculous amount of poor judgment. It shows that he is completely detached from reality. That means that NATO, the West in general, and most of the world will realize there's only one option. Putin would have to be deposed. He would have to lose power in Russia. It's that simple. And it's not because, oh, he fought with NATO. No, it's because he is so detached from reality and the situation on the ground, and his hold on the country has deteriorated. His understanding of international events has deteriorated to the point that he cannot be allowed to be in charge of a strategic arsenal. That would be the response. I know there are a lot of people out there who view Putin and his opposition to a U.S., led world as a good thing. I get that. And on some level, I can even understand it. But it might not be a good idea to carry water for a capitalist, imperialist, authoritarian, bigot, oligarch goon that has lost touch with reality. The outcome of Putin making a move against NATO is bad for everybody. And if you want to ensure U.S. dominance, yeah, that's one way to do it. Because if that occurs, every country will understand that Putin has lost the plot and that he has to go. Now, the good news is that it may not necessarily require NATO intervention to do it. I would imagine that his own people at that point would intervene because they wouldn't have a choice. To remain intact, they would have to, because this would be one of those things that anybody who enabled him, they would be in the same situation. If Putin hits NATO, the world response will be that he has to be deposed. And the government that emerges in Russia, it may not be one that challenges the United States on the foreign policy scene. It might be time for people to reevaluate and understand that this is not the Cold War. Leftists in the United States, Putin is not your friend. He is not your friend. He's a capitalist, imperialist oligarch who suppresses his own population and does not care about any of the things that you think he does. If his judgment lapses to the point that he hits NATO, the world response will be that he has to go. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.